Hi, Tommy Hayfield here with a little bit of history about um, our century, this last century we lived in, last 100 years or so. Specifically, I'm here today to talk about this this particular object, this star. This was to be worn by Jews in the, I guess you'd say, mid 20th century, in the 1930s and 40s, during the war, during the Nazi occupation. Would you be comfortable wearing this star right here? Would you? Would you be comfortable wearing this star of to designate yourself as Jewish and therefore as well, it's not a badge of honor. It's specifically a badge of dishonor. So just think about this. Everywhere you go, everywhere you go during the day, if you go outside your house, you have to wear this badge. This is a blue badge, but the ones that were typically worn during the Nazi era were yellow badges with a J on there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a J on there. Um, Often the stars were plain. They were of different colors depending on uh, the exact location of where you were. See, I'm trying to get you to see that. See it there? It was typically worn on the left breast pocket. Occasionally, some places it was worn on the back or left shoulder. Sometimes it was incorporated into an armband. They were businesses were asked like me pointing a gun at you, asked to place a badge, uh, uh, which included the Star of David, the Shield of David, uh, outside the business to um, illustrate that this was a Jewish-owned business. This was not a fun time during the 1940s. As a matter of fact, this badge has significance throughout the ages. Um, it was it was used to point out as recently as the last decade. It was used to point out Hindus in Islamic countries in the uh, in the Middle East who are at war, um, to point them out as unsavory kind of people, I guess you could say. I mean, use your imagination, right? This is I put this together myself. They're required to sew these onto their clothing. You could be beaten or killed, or you know, I guess you get the idea, because if you're unwanted enough to be asked to wear a label, I guess you could pretty much say your civil rights didn't exist. So use your imagination. This is one I put together myself just to show people what it looks like, what it would feel like to have a label on yourself. Um, the various kinds of labels were modified in concentration camps to further delineate the supposed crimes of the people who are wearing them. There are designations for every category of prisoner which you can imagine, um, from criminals to just unwanted people. Of course, they're all unwanted if they're in a concentration camp. And I mean, this was in our lifetime, and certainly in my parents' lifetime. I'm not that old, but um, most people have relatives who lived in that era, and this was a despicable time for human rights. And today we still fight against the uh, the taint of disrespect by law enforcement, and there's a lot of disrespect going around for people, regardless of their religious affiliation. I mean, disrespect is something you have to uh, people have to deal with, and not just Jews. So, but this was certainly a bad time, and reminds you of the song "Hey Jude," doesn't it? Hey Jude. Remember that song from the '60s? Well, Jude was in fact the word which, in some areas of Europe, you're required to put on your star to identify yourself as a Jew. Just saying, this was in the last 100 years. So, just saying, this is what's been going on.